joining me as we explore another avenue on the path of the seeker. The first process in alchemy is called calcination. In the Emerald Tablet, this stage is referred to as its father is the sun. The symbol for this stage is the crucible. Calcination is the process by which an item is reduced to its most fundamental parts, by first pulverizing it and then heating it up with an intense flame until all that remains is white ash. I'm sure the reason you're watching this video is for self-transformation. You see, while alchemy does use physical components as a form of meditation, the alchemical steps are those of an inner transformation. The language is full of metaphor to confuse those who are focused on physical matter reality. So here again, we have an ancient science that is actually all about self-help psychology and not magic. The reason this information was hidden behind metaphor is because anyone or anything that competed with the concept that the Catholic Church could save you was burned, murdered, or destroyed. The reason the Church didn't want anything competing with them was, of course, because the Roman government wanted money, groupthink, and power. The inner laboratory for this work is your body. Paul Foster Case emphasized that by going through this cleansing process of the consciousness, we will actually affect our physical body. When your consciousness is in alignment with all that is, even the cells of your body reflects that state of alignment and order. I know this seems to take the wonder out of alchemy on some level, but hey, you're learning the secrets of the alchemists. First, we have to understand the concept of why our mind starts off as lead. Lead is a very heavy stone. Picking up a lead weight is not an easy task. At the same time, lead is soft to the touch, and it's easy to impress marks upon it. Lead is also very poisonous. All of these details can give you an idea of the original state of the mind that we possess when we start off on the path of alchemy. Dennis William Huck explains, a leaden consciousness attracts lead into your life and invites the fires of hell. A golden consciousness attracts gold into your life and invites the light of heaven to shine down on you. This sounds like the law of attraction from The Secret, doesn't it? Your mind attracts circumstances and experiences to you that is on the same level as your consciousness. This is also like the Traveler's Notes video I did about the Buddhist's metaphor of the rock and the flower. I'll leave the link to that video in the description box below. The physical metaphor for you to meditate upon during this stage of alchemy involves a composite rock called cinnabar. Dennis William Huck says this stone was called dragon's blood by alchemists in Eastern civilizations. Cinnabar is a beautiful red rock. This composite rock is composed of sulfide and mercury. Mercury, in alchemy, symbolizes spirit, or the absolute unbounded oneness, as Thomas Campbell would call it. To remove the mercury from the cinnabar has to be pulverized and then heated over a very intense flame. On a psychological level, Dennis William Huck explains, calcination is the destruction of the leaden center of consciousness, which is the ego. The process of calcination is similar to the stage that we see in Key 16, the Tower card, of Tarot. People going through this process unintentionally, Huck explains, feel trapped in the fires of hell, burning up and suffering through life yet unable to escape. The only way out of hell is to rise up with the flame. You do have the option of what Huck calls controlled calcination. This requires a deliberate surrender of our inherent hubris, pride, or vanity, through a variety of spiritual disciplines that ignite the fire of introspection and self-evaluation. Unfortunately, most people, including myself, come to this point when we have lost everything by which we have defined ourselves or based our self-worth. That may be a relationship, a vehicle you own, a job, a house, or all of the above. This process can be really beneficial because, as Huck puts it, the ego is pulverized. To break the cinnabar conglomerate rock down to its basic components, alchemists used to roast it over an open flame. When the cinnabar reached a particular temperature, globs of mercury would pour out of its porous surface. In our inner laboratory, the flame is concentrated consciousness. Yep, you guessed it. This requires meditation. Dennis William Huck even went so far as to say, a person who cannot concentrate or focus the mind cannot do alchemy. Hey, don't look so glum. Meditation isn't that hard, and there are a lot of ways to practice meditation. I've given you tools in my other YouTube videos that may make it easier for you. The only thing you really need is the desire. In alchemy, the meditation is on images, much like with the tarot. By studying the experiment of the roasting cinnabar, you can perceive the meaning of this stage in alchemical transformation. This, Paul Foster Case explains, is right imagination. Here, the mind isn't focused on just fantasy, but it's using imagination to create a direct, beneficial outcome. Here, the cinnabar represents the ego. As we have experiences, we form ideas and opinions that crystallize, and when this happens, they become automatic parts of our behavior. This is the knee-jerk emotional reaction we don't understand. We become egoic zombies. We have to be brutally honest with ourselves at this point to identify these crystallized thoughts. They appear as assumptions, judgments, thoughts, and habits. When you focus your concentration on these crystallized thoughts by analyzing them, you can burn them away, much like the metaphor of the phoenix. The phoenix enters the fire in old age and allows itself to be reduced to its most basic elements. That process requires that it gives up all the physical material that it might have identified as itself, the tattered feathers, the sagging meat, and the failing organs. Paul Foster Case explains, to make gold, one must have it, which means you possess that gold in your consciousness already. But when we start off, this process is hidden by the other stuff, just as mercury hides within cinnabar. Thank you, brave soul, for joining me on the path of the seeker. May you find joy and happiness on your unique path.